So any coding, any software guys development you would do, you would have to deal with different type of information, right? With different type of data, right? So for example, guys, right? For example, if I want to, I don't know, let's even when you think, for example, guys, right? Where's our website? Let me see, syntaxtechs.com, right? Even when you guys were applying on our application, right? So when you guys click on enroll, right? So from here, we were collecting, right? We were collecting a different, right? We were collecting a different values, right? We were collecting a different values, okay? So now, for example, in order for us to collect the data from the student, right? We ask you to fill up the form, right? So in here, guys, you would enter your first name, last name, your phone number, right? So we don't collect your age, but for example, if you would ask for your date of birth, right? For your year, for your month, right? And so basically different type of values would be coming in here, right? Different type of values. So now guys, when these different type of values are coming, right? So we have to store them, right? We have to work with these different type of values, right? So now you differentiate, this is different type of values. For example, a first name, we know that the first name, it's always alpha characters, right? We know that there wouldn't be any numeric values when it comes to our first name, right? So phone number, we know that there would be, there should be, right? There should be only, right? There should be only numeric values, right? So now this is a different type, right? When we would ask you to enter age, again, it's only numeric values, right? When we would ask you to enter, for example, your street address, right? It can be numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, and I don't know, test drive or something like that, right? So now different type of data is coming, right? Different type of data. Now what we have to do, we would have to, of course, store this data, and we would have to process this data, right? So, and now collecting of data and representing a data, right? It exists in every single programming languages, right? So now to represent these different type of data, these different type of values, right? So now in every single programming language, guys, what we have a data types, right? We have a data types. For example, right? Now, if you just want to collect a numbers, right? It's a simple numeric value, right? So for example, you think of the application like an Amazon, right? In Amazon, or we do sell something, right? So Costco, right? We have a products, right? And then we have a prices. So now prices, they can be $2.99, $1.99, $1,099, right? It can be now, it's also numeric value, but slightly different, right? So for example, right, when in some application, guys, what we saw, when we have to enter, for example, our gender, right? You enter F, one single character, or another M, right? So now it's a single character, or versus when we enter a name, right? Which is alpha. So all this different type of data is coming, right? So now in Java, we have to make sure, and in any programming languages, right? So now we have to make sure that we categorize those values into the proper data types, right? Into the proper data types, okay? So now when it comes to Java, guys, okay? When it comes to Java provides us with two different data types, okay? Java provides us with two different data types. So first we will look at the two different data types, and then we will look how we process them, okay? How we process them, okay? So now when it comes to two data types, always remember, guys, Java, for some of you, maybe you guys were ready to say 8. So now Java has two different data types, okay? So there's some classification called primitive, and another one we say non-primitive, okay? As of today, guys, we will be ignoring anything when it comes to the non-primitive. So don't focus on the non-primitive. We're going to have 20 classes to focus on non-primitive. Okay, so today the rest of the class we will be focusing on different type of values that considered to be of primitives, right? Of the primitives. For example, right? Let's go back to our data, right? So we're looking only primitives, and we will learn, guys, why we call them primitives, primitive data types, right? And here we have non-primitive data types, right? So 2 classifications. Number 1, we will focus later. Number 2, we are focusing today, right? As we said, guys, right? As we said, now anytime you work with in software programming, we always will be dealing with different sets of data, right? So now if I want to differentiate the sets of data, right, so I would differentiate first into something that we call numeric, and then probably I differentiate it into non-numeric, right? Non-numeric. So now when we look at the numeric values, right? So when we look at the numeric values, remember, guys, we guys can have a whole numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? For example, our age, right? Our day, right? Our month of the birth, our year, right? It's always a whole number, right? And it's a numeric value, right? So now numeric, right? Or for example, when we deal with decimals, right? In which situation, example, it can be something with the prices, right? Something with the prices, something when you guys deal with the mortgages, right? Any bank applications, right? Think of it when you guys see in your bank account, right? How much you have on your checking, right? It's always have different, right? It doesn't have only whole numbers, it have the values with the decimals, right? So now, but they both numeric, right?